Welcome back, I'm Kim Bailey and this is Floral Art Online. I've been doing a number of workshops locally in my area, weekly workshops and monthly workshops as well. And one of the ones that I did very recently, earlier this week, was about making a mobile or a flower curtain. And what I decided with the mobile was that it's a little bit fiddly for the age of the people that I'm working with at the moment in terms of tying fishing line and using swivels. So I thought I'd give them an opportunity to make a mobile and talk to them about using the fishing swivels so that they could use those if they wanted to. But just a nice simple one. And the flower curtain idea, which comes from, for me, comes from Hitomi Gilliam, and this is how I learnt the technique. And she has an extraordinary amount of resources and ideas and creativity that I encourage you to have a look at. This particular technique is straightforward, it's easy, it can give you a single strand or a triple strand, as you see here. You can hang it off the edge of an awning if you wanted to, or you could have it hanging off the sticks, or a more structural mobile arrangement if you wanted to. It uses vials, water vials and paper covered wire, and you can make it in any combination of things that you'd like to. At the end of the video I'll show you some photos of what the workshop participants did this week in terms of their own creativity with this particular desire. So let's get started. I'll have the camera facing down onto the table so that you can see what I'm doing rather than look at my talking head. So the key to this technique very much is in the preparation. So for the workshop, everyone got a little box of twigs that I had prepared, cut up for them. So I'll get some of those out so I can show you what you need to be doing. So basically, I've got them in, as you can see, in different sizes for this exercise. These ones are pretty thin, so I'm going to group them together. But what we need to do, these are the packs that they got, each of them got. So they had some U-glue dashes, or dots, whatever you call them, some water vials, and some paper covered wire. So we'll put the wire aside for the moment and we'll just work on these items. What you need to do is cut either the dashes into halves or into quarters. I'm going to do them in halves. I found halves was easier for me to work with, and you just have one on the edge of around every bit of stick that you've got. And this just holds the wire in place a little bit better than doing the winding on its own. You can do it without putting these onto the sticks, but you do risk them slipping around a little bit when you're wrapping the wire around them. So I think that it's probably safer and easier to do it this way, particularly if you're using ones that are not as dried as these. These have been off the branch for quite some time, and so they're not going to shrink very much more. But if you're using something that's a little bit fresher, you are going to encounter some shrinkage, so you will need to ensure that you've thought about that. So with the thinner ones, obviously just going to group them together and and that holds them together as well as will hold them when I get a chance to put them onto the wire. So we'll put that to one side. Same thing with the vials. Now I've got two sizes of vials there, so you don't need them all. I'll just show you on a couple. Same thing, so we need to cut some of these in half. Each of the vials will have 3 bits of, you could use double-sided tape if you haven't got access to these items, the U-glue dots, dashes. One on the base, and then one either side at the top, making sure that they're even, so that, because you're going to bring the wire up the sides of your vials. So exactly opposite. So one either side, opposite like that, and one on the base. Now I've obviously left the other part of the dash covered with the paper. I won't take that off until I'm ready to join it to the wire and to the structure, so they all just get a bit too sticky and a bit too easy to get caught up on your fingers, as my ladies found in the workshop. There's one who would just spend half the day pulling them off her fingers. Okay, now we've got our wire, and they got 3 lengths of wire, so I'll just separate it out. This is the green paper coloured wire. You can get it in a few different colours. I guess it depends on what you're using it for. So which colour you might need to use. You could, if you wanted it to be really decorative, you could probably do it with some of the other types of wire, but you've got to have something that's, you can work with reasonably easily. So we have 1 length of wire. We're going to fold it in half, and where we have the first join, going to join our first bit of stick. So we'll take off the backing, put that in so that the wire is against that, and then we just twist. Now, depending on how many twists will mean how much space you've got between your sticks. I'm going to go for 6, because it gives me a nice bit of spacing. And then we add the next one in. Now you might like to, when you're doing your preparation, think about the sizing, the relative sizing of the sticks that you're putting in. So once again, it's just make sure you've got the wire either side of where you've got that glue dot, and then another 6 twists. And you just keep adding them that way, as many as you like. There's no rule of thumb for it, so we'll just put this 3rd one in now, and then I'll put in one of the vials so you can see how that works. Making sure that the wire is up against that glue dot. Now we'll join the vial. So we'll take the paper backing off the base first of all. Make sure that we've got the wire up against that glue dot there, and we bring the 2 strands that we've been working with up the sides so that they will adhere to the pieces we've got on the sides. Make sure that's nice and strongly on. And then we just twist again. So bring it over the top and do your twists. Now what that does is gives you 2 sides to put your plain material in, so it helps you balance the design once you've got it hanging. And that's what we found in the workshops, was that people were comfortable putting a little bit of foliage in one side and the feature flower in the other. Some put 2 flowers in, but it really helped them in these early stages of making this kind of design to keep the whole thing balanced. So now it's up to you. It's your creativity, whatever you add now, whether you want to add another vial, a few more sticks, we might put another vial in. When you're adding the vials and doing that section of the twisting, you need to think about the flowers and the foliage that you're going to put in, because you don't want them to be covered up too much by the vial or by the sticks. So make sure you've got to line up your side ones, otherwise you'll continue to twist the hanging part of it, which I have done to a certain extent because I wasn't careful enough about lining it up. I've lost the lip of where this paper is. And what it gives you is this basic technique, and you can be as creative as you like with what you use as the spaces in between your vials. You could have it all water vials if you wanted a really spectacular floral display, but what it does is give you a good backing for hanging something without using too many flowers. It can still look like it's a wall of flowers almost. So then I would add another couple of sticks in here. Now you'll see that I didn't do the 6 twists in those sections there, and that's just a personal preference. I like to have the flowers in the vial, but I like them to be in front and behind of the sticks, so that gives me not too much space to fill with a flower head. But once again, entirely up to you how you bring this together, but think about it and plan it a little bit before you actually start to put it together. And that's why that planning time, that preparation of getting your vials and getting all of your other bits and pieces ready, is a good time to be thinking in your head about how you want it to look when it's finished. You could use, in these cross pieces, you could use some seeded grasses, some, if you've got interesting seed pods that could manifest themselves. So I just wanted to show you joining those 3. So it's just about layering them so that glue dot holds them together, as well as helps the wire adhere to the group of them. And you can see how nice and quickly it comes together. I'll just put this last one in so you can see. And this time I'll be more careful, so I'm looking at the 2 sides of where I want the 2 strands to go. So bring that up to join there. As I said earlier, I'll put up some photos in this video of some of the completed designs that were made in the workshops this week, where people did a single strand, they did 3 strands, they did 2 strands, and they mixed and matched how they were adding their flowers. So, but that's the basic process for a flower curtain style of mobile. Just grab this one behind me so that you can see that in comparison. It's got the flowers in it. So as you can see, it's just I've put the foliage in the back of that, and then the flower in the front. It's a great technique. It's a simple technique. It can be adapted in so many ways to so many different types of designs and uses. I encourage you to give it a try and to be creative about how you're going to use it and where you're going to use it and what you're going to use it for. For now, I'm Kim Bailey, and this is Floral Art Online.